Today on Tricrow Studios, we do a high gain amp head shootout between the Peavey XXX and the Peavey 6505 Plus. Now, even though there was a warning at the beginning of the video, I do have to reiterate here, this is a high gain amp head shootout. So there's no clean, no breakup, nothing like that. It's only like metal and hard rock kind of a deal. If you are looking for a direct comparison between both of these amps, you more than likely have to wait. I haven't made that video yet, but once I do, take a look in the description down below. I'll leave a link to it. As well, if you're looking for individual videos for like metal and not playing any metal and not using any pedals, I'll leave links to those in the description as well once I've made them. So I have two sound samples today. I'm not boosting whatsoever. There's no Ibanez TS9 in the mix here. There's not even any wah solos, but I do have two sound samples here. The first of which is a 2011 SG Standard Limited with a baked maple fretboard. That is in E flat standard, and that's a little on the scoop side. Basically the mids are sitting around like 1030-ish. And then the second sound sample is a Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s. That's in drop C, and that's a more balanced type of an EQ. there's the shootout for the Peavey XXX and the Peavey 6505 Plus. This is the portion of the video where I talk about kind of what I learned and what I've kind of gathered from doing this. I basically knew beforehand, because the 6505 Plus is notoriously dark sounding, which is excellent. And the XXX is a little more up on the higher register. So I kind of knew that I'd be going back and forth from a higher sound on the XXX to a like lower, muddier type sound with the 6505 Plus. And I do find that it's a bit of a stark comparison when you're going from one to the other. 6505 Plus, even though I was bringing up the high end, I did tweak the presence a little. It does come across as a little on the muddy side. Now, that really depends on what sound you're going for. Mixing in a 6505 Plus to kind of thicken up some low end that might be missing with other amps, that's a really great trick that a lot of people have used, myself included. And the XXX, just a newer amp to me. It's one of those, I have to say that it's kind of like Peavey's version of the dual rectifier, but it's not really. You don't need, there's not a ton of benefit from pushing an Ibanez TS9 in front of it, whereas the dual rectifier, you don't always have to do that, but it is kind of beneficial when you're doing it. The XXX doesn't need it as much as perhaps a dual rectifier might. But yeah, that's basically the way that I saw things. I did also find that the XXX was a little, the low end is a little tricky on it. Perhaps that is where a TS9 might help things, because once you're bringing up the low end past like 10 o'clock, it does sound a little flubby, sort of like a dual rectifier. But as well, like the combination of the low end and the high end, they can be a little tricky. But it is an excellent amp. It's a very pleasing sounding amp. So that's basically what I kind of gathered from doing the shootout. Lots of low end, tad muddy, and lots of high end where if you're increasing the low end, it can start to get flubby. That's what I got. Thanks for watching.